So much more stuff has leaked for Avengers Doomsday. We basically have the movie already. Look, if you don't want spoilers, I don't know why you clicked this video, because I'm about to spoil so much from Avengers Doomsday. Not only do we have the entire plot leak, which I have done a video on already, but Marvel Studios and Disney just inadvertently confirmed a bunch of plot leaked photos that were on the internet were real. For the longest time, we couldn't be sure. Some people were saying that these photos were real, but other people were saying they look like AI. Some photos have been enhanced with AI, where people are saying that the original photo was real, but because it was getting like leaked and sent, behind the scenes, the digital picture ends up getting blurry. If you keep screenshotting something, downloading something, it can end up quite blurry. Or maybe the original photo itself was quite blurry, so people use AI to upscale it to get it to look normal. We have a couple instances of this, which has made it hard. AI has made it hard to tell, is this a real leak? Is it a real leak that's been enhanced with AI, or is it just full AI? That being said, you guys may have seen spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but this leaked photo of Sadie Sink's character and Punisher, again, this photo is based, like, it is a real photo. It's just that the original photo was very low quality, so AI has been used to enhance the quality. But if you compared this AI upscale to the original photo, you'd see it's the same photo. This isn't like AI generated from scratch. It's just AI enhancing a real leaked photo. This is really what Sadie Sink and Punisher will look like at some point in the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. Now, I've already done a plot leak video for Spider-Man Brand New Day where I completely spoil the entire plot to the movie, so you can go check out that video. This picture just reinforces that that plot leak is true. Here we have Sadie Sink with a very strange hairstyle considering the character that she's playing, but it is Jean Grey, guys. If you're still hoping it's not Jean Grey, or you think it's not Jean Grey, Sadie Sink 100% is playing Jean Grey. I appreciate this hairstyle isn't very Jean Grey coded. It does look a bit more like a Typhoid Mary or someone else. I don't know why Marvel Studios decided to give her this weird hairstyle, but it is still Jean Grey. I think, ignore the hairstyle, think more about what she's wearing. She's wearing green and yellow. Those are the OG colors for Jean Grey and her superhero costume in the comics, and that's what Marvel Studios loves to do. Not just Marvel, a bunch of superhero shows and movies, they like to give the character clothes that like match what their superhero costume will look like. In Smallville, for 10 seasons, Superman didn't wear a costume. He just wore a blue t-shirt and a red jacket to look like, his red top and his red cape. Sorry, his blue top and his red cape from his real costume. It happens all the time in superhero stuff. So yeah, that's what they're doing. It's a reference. Jean Grey will wear green and yellow before she gets her proper green and yellow costume. Moving on from that, back to Avengers Doomsday, what we really came here to speak about. We have several leaked photos. Some of these came out a while ago. These are photos from a photo shoot that they did, sort of like a test screening, or not test screening, camera test, to see how the different characters and costumes look on camera. But before we get to that, I want to take a look at the newest leak, which is this photo right here. I'll explain what's going on in this photo. It's important to note that the original photo was, again, just a blurry, sneakily leak that someone did. It was blurry, it was bad quality. Someone's used AI to upscale it, but this is still based on a real image and from a real scene that we'll see in Avengers Doomsday. In fact, if you watched my last video about the Avengers Doomsday plot leak, you might be able to figure this out. This is supposed to be Hugh Jackman's Wolverine fighting against clearly a CGI style character that is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. That might not be Tobey Maguire himself in this image. It might be his stunt double or whatever, but the character that they're going to CGI is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man going up against Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Again, that might be Hugh Jackman in the costume, probably not. Could be a stunt double, but what matters is what the scene is for. Don't get me wrong, Tobey Maguire will have a real Spider-Man physical suit that he'll wear, but they alternate between the real physical suit and then the CGI suit. So this shot is just one where it will be CGI suit, and that could very well be Tobey Maguire in this photo. But it does, again, confirm my plot leak that I mentioned, because why is Wolverine fighting Spider-Man. Why is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine fighting Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? Because that is what's happening here. What is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine holding in his hand? Well, I have the answers here. We can just get into the confirmed, as far as I'm concerned, Avengers Doomsday plot leak, which explains this and everything else. Before I get into that, I'll explain exactly what's going on with Wolverine and Spider-Man. Let's quickly talk about the other photos that have been confirmed to be legit. They include photos of Doom, what he's going to look like, him sitting on a throne, very important for later in this plot leak as it explains how that comes to be. We see Mystique looking very comic accurate. This is how she'll look in the movie. More on her later in this plot leak as well. And a few other characters we get to see what their designs will look like. So you heard it here first. Avengers Doomsday, this is the plot. So again, I'm going to be going through the plot leak. This is full spoilers for Avengers Doomsday, everything that happens in the movie, and I'll explain how all of these recent photo leaks tie in to the actual plot. So full spoilers ahead. The full plot description of Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday opens in New York City on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's Earth. He's fighting Deadpool and Wolverine, who are sent there with a planet-killing bomb built by Beast to destroy Tobey's world in order to save their own universe from an incursion. So that's what Wolverine is holding in this photo. That is some part of this universe-killing bomb that was created by Beast from the X-Men. This scene that we're looking at takes place in Tobey Maguire's universe from Spider-Man 1, 2, 3 by Sam Raimi. Crazy, I know, but that's Wolverine holding the destruction to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe. So this image, which again, it has been upscaled, but insiders and leakers all report that the actual image is legit. Okay, we have the full plot leak for Avengers Doomsday. This is 100% real. If you don't want spoilers, why did you click this video? I'm about to reveal all the secrets, everything that happens in Avengers Doomsday coming out December 18th, 2026. This plot leak has been confirmed by various scoopers, and it also matches up perfectly with the exclusive Avengers Doomsday trailer that was shown recently at CinemaCon. So if you were there at CinemaCon, if you've seen other videos about what happens in that exclusive trailer, you'll see how it matches this plot leak. I'll also, if you don't know anything about the CinemaCon trailer, be comparing this plot leak to that trailer as well as all the plot leaks that we've ever had up till this moment. But this plot leak, guys, it's real. So if you don't want spoilers, you know. But if you want spoilers, then let's enjoy, because I'm about to tell you the full plot, including the ending to Avengers Doomsday by Marvel Studios. The full plot description of Avengers Doomsday reads as follows. Avengers Doomsday opens in New York City on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's Earth. He's fighting Deadpool and Wolverine, who are sent there with a planet-killing bomb built by Beast to destroy Tobey's world in order to save their own universe from an incursion. Hear me out. I explain how this all works and how it makes perfect sense. Hear me out. Tobey battles Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, who manages to plant the device. Wolverine stays behind when it detonates, and both he and Tobey's Spider-Man, along with everyone on that Earth, are killed. Deadpool escapes and returns to his own Earth, which we see in the distance. Hear me out. Charles Xavier watches the destroyed world below with sadness, but they had no choice. This is the opening to Avengers Doomsday. Let me explain. Don't dislike the video, don't click off. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is definitely not dead, so hear me out. The audience are going to be led to believe that Wolverine and Spider-Man died, but I believe, based on other plot leaks we've had, that those two characters will secretly have been saved for Secret Wars, no pun intended. Think about it. Avengers Doomsday is very much an OG Avengers movie. It's a movie starring Robert Downey Jr., not as Iron Man, but as Doctor Doom. It's a movie starring Chris Evans as Captain America and Chris Hemsworth as Thor. This movie is for the original Avengers. I would not be surprised at all if the Hulk is in this movie, Bruce Banner, alongside Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and probably even Jeremy Renner back as Hawkeye. I would not be surprised if all 6 of the OG Avengers are in Avengers Doomsday playing significant roles, because this is a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame, and it is an Avengers movie about the Avengers. And when I say the Avengers, I don't mean necessarily the new Avengers, or the other new Avengers. I'm talking about the OGs. So this is their movie, so there's no time to focus on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Tobey and Hugh are big actors. It'd be disrespectful, Loki, to stuff them in this movie with already so many big actors. No, this movie needs to focus on Chris Hemsworth and Robert Downey Jr. They ain't got time to focus on Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire, which is why Wolverine and Spider-Man are being saved for Avengers Secret Wars, where they can have starring roles. Secret Wars is the more multiversal film, so it makes a lot of sense for that film to be starring people like the alternate universe Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, the alternate universe, obviously Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, whereas Doomsday, and don't get me wrong, Secret Wars could be more of a Spider-Man movie in general, but Doomsday might be more likely to feature a bit more Tom Holland, to be honest. That being said, Tobey is not actually dead, but people who have seen early versions of Avengers Doomsday are saying it's quite a sad movie. And I think this opening scene will be one of the reasons why people say it's quite a sad movie, because we're going to think that Tobey Maguire and his entire universe is dead. Now, his entire universe is dead, so that means that the original Mary Jane is gone, the original Flash Thompson, all of them, original Aunt May, Tobey Maguire's entire Spider-Man 1, 2, 3 universe deleted due to an incursion. But someone is going to save Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man at the last second alongside Wolverine at the last second so they can survive that incursion. Now, why did Wolverine and Deadpool go to Spider-Man's universe to destroy it? That's how incursions work. Two universes collide. Either one is destroyed or both are destroyed. So the X-Men universe, they had no choice. This X-Men universe, by the way, is going to be the same one we saw at the end of the Marvels, where Captain Rambeau, or rather Monica Rambeau, she ended up in that X-Men universe where Beast was looking at her in the X-Mansion. That's the main X-Men universe that we're using in the MCU. I forget the number for the universe, but I'm just going to refer to it as the X-Men universe, where all the X-Men exist in live action. That's also the universe where Deadpool and Wolverine presumably would be sent from. And Charles Xavier, he sent Deadpool and Wolverine to put this bomb in Tobey's universe to blow it up so that the X-Men universe can survive. They had no choice, because if they didn't blow up Tobey's universe, then simply both Tobey's universe and the X-Men universe would have both been destroyed. I think you guys get it. The opening to the new Avengers Doomsday trailer, as reported by people who saw it at CinemaCon, and you guys will soon see this, everyone will see this trailer soon online. It starts with Charles Xavier looking at what seems to be an incursion, sadly. He's looking at some kind of explosion in the distance, and if you've read the comic books by Marvel that the incursions come from, the comic books that this movie is based on, in Incursion, you can literally see the other universe physically as it collides with your universe. You can see the other Earth. You can actually see the sky go red. So those are all hints that an incursion is happening. That's what's happening in the opening to the trailer. Charles Xavier is looking sadly at an incursion, but it's not the incursion of his universe. It's an incursion that he's caused to another universe, Spider-Man's, to save his own. So that is the opening to the movie. It's an epic opening. Imagine seeing that. Like, I'm comparing Avengers Doomsday to Avengers Infinity War because that is the comparison. Avengers Infinity War was part 1, Avengers Doomsday is part 1, and this is all a sequel to that. So Infinity War opened with that epic fight between Hulk and Thanos. I'd say this is an upgrade. If the fight between Wolverine and Tobey, Spider-Man and Deadpool is as epic as it sounds, it's the crossover we always wanted. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man crossing over with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's the Spider-Man X-Men crossover we were meant to get in the 2000s, but we're finally getting over 20 years later. And I'm here for it. Again, it's a great way to give all those characters some love, but this is not Wolverine's movie. This is not Tobey Maguire's movie, which is why we're gonna think that they're dead. Okay, then we cut to Tony's funeral, because as the Russo brothers, the directors for Avengers Doomsday, they recently said that Avengers Doomsday is a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame. Kind of implying that you don't need to have watched any of the multiverse saga to understand Avengers Doomsday, which is obviously not 100% true, but they'll definitely write this movie with the assumption that most people have not been keeping up to date, because most people have not been keeping up to date since Endgame. Many people have not watched many shows and movies, so they're kind of going to breeze over all that stuff, which is the smart choice at the end of the day. So, continuing on with the plot leak, we then cut to Tony's funeral at the end of Avengers Endgame. Steve Rogers speaks with some of the heroes, including Ant-Man, and this is all before he returns the Infinity Stones, which we saw at the end of Avengers Endgame. He goes back in time and chooses to stay with Peggy, which is, if I remember correctly, that's literally the last shot of Avengers Endgame. So we're continuing off from that last shot, which fits in perfectly with what was said in by the Russos about this film continuing from the last one. Also, it ties in well with that Captain America teaser trailer we got for Avengers Doomsday, where he's clearly in his life with Peggy. They have a son. They name him Jim. And then one day, as they're living their lives, Loki visits them, and this is before the Loki season 2 finale. So obviously in the movie they're going to explain it as if you have never seen the Loki show, because not many people, well, people watched it, but like not enough people compared to how many are going to watch Doomsday. I wonder how they'll catch everyone up. They might just say, look, I'm the Loki that escaped in Avengers Doomsday and I'm back, because this is a direct continuation. Sorry, I'm the Loki that escaped in Avengers Endgame and I'm back here in Doomsday. I now have time god powers, and he's, you know, speaking to Captain America, who he somehow gets to trust him. So yeah, obviously if you've seen the Loki show, you know how Loki became like basically the god of time. They'll explain it in the movie if you never saw the show, but that's what happened. Anyway, they have a son, Jim. One day Loki visits them. This is before the Loki season 2 finale, where it's the finale where Loki becomes the time god. He tells Steve about the TVA and warns him that they will soon prune this timeline because Steve was never meant to live there or have a son. You feel me? So that again ties in perfectly with Loki, the show, if you've seen it. That makes perfect sense. So continuing on, Loki offers them a way out. He can take them to a universe where they don't exist and they can live in peace. This has to do with the fact that rumors are that if you are in a universe that you're not meant to be in, that's what causes an incursion. Think Monica Rambeau from the Marvels. She fell into a universe she's not supposed to be in. She's in the X-Men universe. She's the reason why that universe is having more incursions. She's not supposed to be in the X-Men universe because she's from the main 616 MCU Marvel universe. So the idea of someone being in the wrong universe causes incursions fits in perfectly with the Marvel's post-end credit scene, and also with Avengers Endgame that Captain America went to live in a different timeline. It works. So Loki's like, oh, we don't want incursions. Steve, you need to move from this universe to just a different universe. You can go with Peggy, you can go with your son, but you have to leave, right? So he takes them to a universe where they don't exist and can live in peace, and this universe turns out to be the Fantastic Four's universe that we obviously saw in that movie. Before leaving, Loki gives Steve a special card to contact him, probably some magic card. Steve and his family live there for 10 years in the Fantastic Four's universe. We then see Dr. Doom visiting Sue and Franklin in the same universe. They clearly know each other. Doom says he has come to speak with Reed. He warns him about the incursions and reveals that their universe is next. He proposes a plan, but they must travel with him to Earth 616. Doom also asks Reed whether it's possible someone from another universe is living in theirs. They scan the planet and discover an anomaly, they discover something odd, Steve and his family. So, sorry for the word rabble, but basically, Captain America is living in the Fantastic Four universe. Dr. Doom is doing experiments because he knows that incursions are coming, and it's important to note that the Fantastic Four post-end credit scene had Dr. Doom pulling up on the Fantastic Four, and people wondered if that Dr. Doom was from a different universe, but no. Dr. Doom is from the same universe as Reed Richards, which is perfect. It means that they could have their backstory that they typically, go way back. I even like the comics where they went university together, so maybe they'll do that in the MCU. So Dr. Doom is from the Fantastic Four's universe, which makes perfect sense. That's why we see him at the end of that movie, and he's come to warn them about the incursions, which leads them to discover that Captain America is living in a universe when he shouldn't be. And on top of that, Dr. Doom feels that they need to go to the 616 universe to fix this. Why? My best guess, the Scarlet Witch. Dr. Doom needs her. In the comics, he needed her for this arc, and the reason being is she's, super powerful, and he might need her for his goals, which we'll get to in a second, one spoiler at a time. So, continuing on with the plot leak, the Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom confront Steve, who recognizes them after living in their universe for a decade. They explain the incursions and ask him to come to 616 to help convince the Avengers to trust Doom's plan. They travel there, and Steve successfully persuades the heroes to listen. This ties in again with the exclusive trailer that was recently shown. In that trailer, we actually see Steve Rogers say, "Hey pal," as he pulls up on Thor on the Fantastic Four ship. So that's why, because Captain America is come from the Fantastic Four universe with them to the 616, where he's reunited with Thor and Sam Wilson and the New Avengers and the other New Avengers. They all unite, and because of Captain America, obviously, they listen to Doom's plan. Next, they visit the X-Men universe, but the X-Men are hostile. They've survived multiple incursions and they trust no one. They assume the MCU heroes and the Fantastic Four have come to destroy them and attack. This is what we also see in the new trailer. We see Shang-Chi fighting Gambit. We see Mystique fighting Yelena Belova, turning into a Yelena Belova duplicate because of her shapeshifting powers. We literally see X-Men vs Avengers, which, I mean, I wish it was a whole movie, but it seems like X-Men vs Avengers is going to be limited to this one fight scene. But it's still cool. Shang-Chi vs Gambit, Black Widow vs Mystique, other people vs other people. It should be pretty cool to see. X-Men vs Avengers, but it is just this one fight scene that we will see clips of in the first trailer, or in the next trailer for Avengers Doomsday. So yeah, X-Men vs Avengers, they fight, then Reed and Doom explain their solution: to build massive cannons on each Earth that will permanently separate the universes and stop the incursions. They will split into teams and each one will go into another Earth to place a cannon there. My understanding is that Monica Rambeau will be the reason why the X-Men and the Avengers are able to stop fighting. Think about it. Monica Rambeau has been in the X-Men universe. They've treated her wounds. They've gotten to know her. When they start fighting another universe and she comes out to the X-Men courtyard at the mansion and she sees heroes from her universe, the MCU, fighting the X-Men, she's going to be like, whoa, 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 my new X-Men friends, stop fighting my old Avengers friends. We're all on the same side. So she'll be the reason everyone stops fighting. Then they, begin Reed and Doctor Doom's plan, which turns out is massive cannons on each universe. Kind of similar, I think, to the Fantastic Four First Steps, Reed Richards' plan of building that thing to catch Galactus. Anyway, meanwhile, Steve tells Thor he met a Loki, who is still alive. Thor asks Steve to take him to him. Using Loki's card, they locate the TVA, but when they arrive, everyone is dead and Loki has had his heart ripped out. They realize Doom is responsible. Plot twist. Steve goes back to confront Doom, who reveals his true plan: to allow the incursions to happen so he can rebuild the multiverse in his own image and resurrect his dead family. Let me explain. When Doctor Doom found out that his Fantastic Four universe was going to be destroyed by incursions, he began doing experiments in order to figure out a way to, stop the incursions. During one of these experiments gone wrong in Doctor Doom's Latverian laboratory, or castle, or home even, his family is killed. The experiment goes wrong, maybe some explosion or something. Doctor Doom's family's killed. And who would he blame for that? It's Captain America's fault. Captain America's the one who's in his universe and he shouldn't be there, so he's the one causing the incursions. So because Doctor Doom was trying so hard to stop the incursions, he did those experiments that went wrong and killed his family. That is why Doctor Doom is evil, and that is why he's dead set on letting the incursions happen so he can rebuild the multiverse. And that's why Captain America Steve Rogers is gonna low-key be his arch nemesis Loki, because of that beef that they have now. So Doom takes Steve to his castle in Latveria on his Earth, as in Fantastic Four universe. There, Steve meets Doom's followers, masked witches. Allegedly, one is Doctor Doom, one might be the Scarlet Witch. One of them impersonates Peggy to manipulate Steve. Doom reveals that Steve's presence in their universe is what triggered their incursion. Because he didn't belong there, it also led to the death of Doom's family. Doom became obsessed with stopping the incursion, conducting dangerous experiments, one of which failed, killing his family and leaving him disfigured. That's how he got scarred, forcing him to wear the armor and the mask. As revenge, Doom kills Steve's son in front of him. This is going to be the super dark moment in the movie. That's probably the biggest spoiler, so yeah. Allegedly, Doctor Doom will kill Steve Rogers' son, Jim, who's, I presume, a 10-year-old kid, or a little kid. So yeah, brutal, very dark, very cruel, gonna be an insane moment in the movie. You might think this is too dark for a Marvel movie, but I will explain why I do believe this will happen, because as dark as it will feel in the moment, spoiler alert, it's not actually that dark. But it is quite dark still. It is dark, but you'll see what I mean when I get to the ending of the story. So yeah, crazy, what's next? Bit annoyed, third time recording this, but anyway, Doom announces that the Avengers are coming and Latveria prepares for war. The Fantastic Four, the Avengers and the X-Men unite and march on Latveria. Thor prays to Odin, who sends an army from Valhalla to join the battle. A massive war erupts as the Earths begin to collide. Eventually, the universes crash into each other and are destroyed, killing everyone except Doom. It's revealed that he stole Loki's powers. Using them, he creates Battleworld, resurrects everyone and erases their memories. They believe Battleworld is all that has ever existed. We see them living new lives in this false reality. Doom sits on his throne as the Emperor of Battleworld. The end. Sad ending for Avengers Doomsday makes perfect sense because the Russo brothers who did Avengers Infinity War, which was a part 1, Avengers Infinity War was part 1 and it had a sad ending. Thanos won, he did the snap, he killed half of everyone, and everyone in the cinema, when they watched Infinity War, that ending hit so hard. Infinity War is my favorite MCU movie, and I think Avengers Doomsday is the only film that could compete to make it better, / Secret Wars. So we'll see. That being said, Avengers Infinity War having a sad ending was genius because it made us so excited for the next movie, Avengers Endgame. It's the same reason why Avengers Doomsday is going to have a sad ending, so we can be super excited for Avengers Secret Wars where the heroes get their get back, okay? It's also exactly what happens in the comics. Those who've read the Secret Wars comics know that Doctor Doom creates Battleworld and, this is basically what happens in the comics, but it's a streamlined version. It's a simplified version of the comics, which is what the Russo brothers always do. Pardon me. They take the best parts of the comics and they simplify it for a movie whilst giving us loads of fan service. They know we want Avengers vs. X-Men, so we're going to get it. They know we want some epic dark stuff, so we're going to get it. People are going to say the movie's sad because Doctor Doom does what he does to Captain America's son. They're going to say it's sad because Tobey Maguire and Wolverine and Tobey's universe are all deleted and killed. That being said, this is where I think the post-end credit scene comes in. This is a guess, an assumption based on everything we know, but I think I can also accurately predict what the post-end credit scene will be to Avengers Doomsday. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're led to believe that Tobey's Spider-Man and his universe were destroyed. Tobey's universe definitely was destroyed, but Tobey was not. Wolverine was not. Loki plucked Spider-Man and Wolverine from that conflict. He saved them from the incursion and took them somewhere safe, maybe the end of time, the only place where the Battleworld reboot isn't affecting them, because everyone in Battleworld only remembers Battleworld, but Loki remembers the truth. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man will remember the truth. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will remember the truth. And this team of anchor beings, this new multiversal Avengers team run by Loki, who will probably have their base at the end of time, they'll be the heroes needed to save the world, or the multiverse rather, in Avengers Secret Wars. Because the people in Battleworld, the main Avengers, they only know Battleworld. They don't know anything's wrong. So we're going to need Avengers who are not there to save the day. That's where Avengers Secret Wars is going to be the most multiversal film of all of them, because we're going to have a multiversal Avengers team saving the day. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from one universe, Wolverine Hugh Jackman from a different universe. I don't know who else. Maybe Tom Holland Spider-Man from the MCU universe. Maybe, I don't know, the old Reed Richards from the old Fantastic Four movies. Maybe Michael B. Jordan will come back as Human Torch. Maybe, I don't know who is going to be on Loki's Avengers team. You can comment below who you think. But I know 2 members will be Wolverine and Spider-Man. And that's the post-end credit scene. Plot twist, Loki's not dead. I know I mentioned earlier that Doctor Doom killed Loki. It was a trick. Loki is the god of tricks. Once again, Loki faked his death. It's an illusion, a hallucination, an illusion. Doom will think he ripped out Loki's heart and killed him, but in actuality Loki survived. He may not have his god powers of time anymore because Doom stole his powers, but he's still strong enough to recruit a team of Avengers to take down Doom in Avengers Secret Wars. That's the post-end credit scene. I think all of this sounds amazing. It's very comics accurate in a sense. Again, very simplified version of the comic, but this is literally Avengers Secret Wars. And this is exactly how I expected these movies to go from when they first announced this movie. So I'm hyped. I think it sounds dope. I think it's going to be great. I think the MCU might be back, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. This is what we wanted. A movie starring our Avengers doing cool stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. And come December 18th, when all of this is proven correct and this entire plot leak is proven true, December 18th, after you watch Avengers Doomsday, come back to this video, give it a like, subscribe, and comment and say you was 100% right.
Or just do that now to save yourself time. To be fair, the movie doesn't come out for like 7 months. Things could change, but this is still the bulk of what the movie is. Things could change up until the day of release, so bear that in mind. They're still making the movie, so things could change, but as of today, this is what happens in Avengers Doomsday. Peace.